Hello science fans, and welcome to SHE-ensya's Corner. Here, we kick back, relax, answer some of your questions, and talk about science events, both great and mundane, in the life of your resident Filipino scientist. It's November 7, 2020, science fans. I am Chana Camille Vinci Cruz Abeledo, your resident Filipino scientist, and welcome to episode 6 of SHE-ensya's Corner. So this week in quarantine, we went through a pretty rough typhoon. Last November 1, Typhoon Goni, known here as Super Typhoon Rolly, made landfall as a Category 5 equivalent super typhoon on Catanduanes Island. It was the strongest landfalling tropical cyclone on record. All in all, the Philippines suffered 8.47 billion pesos of infrastructure damages, along with 2.94 billion pesos of agricultural damage. In the Bicol region alone, over 96,000 families were relocated to evacuation centers, and almost 400,000 people were displaced from their homes. It is also approximated that about 1,100 individuals were stranded in various ports. Science fact: like any tropical cyclone, there are few main requirements for typhoon formation and development. The first would be sufficiently warm sea surface temperatures. Second, atmospheric instability. Third, high humidity in the lower to middle levels of the troposphere. Fourth, enough Coriolis effect to develop a low-pressure center. Fifth, a pre-existing low-level focus or disturbance. And sixth, a low vertical wind shear. Because of man-made global warming, sea surface temperatures are much higher now. And because of this, we've had more and stronger typhoons. What's frustrating though is, despite the imperfections in environmental management in the Philippines, we are actually only responsible for less than a tenth of the carbon emissions of developed nations, such as the US, the UK, or even Canada. But because of our geographic location and the archipelagic nature of our country, we are disproportionately affected by the consequences of man-made climate change. And this is where the concept of climate justice comes in. Climate justice is a term used to frame global warming as an ethical and political issue, rather than one that is purely environmental or scientific in nature. So climate justice, in a nutshell, is asking nations responsible for the bulk of greenhouse gas emissions to be responsible for their irresponsibilities. Because you see, disadvantaged groups will continue to be disproportionately impacted as climate change persists. These groups will be affected due to inequalities that are based on demographic characteristics such as differences in gender, race, ethnicity, age, and income. Communities of color, women, indigenous groups, and low-income communities all face greater vulnerabilities to climate change. And this is because most of them have little to no adaptive resources to face the consequences of climate change. Some of them might also receive unequal shares of disaster relief assistance from the government. And, quite frankly, most of them have little to no voice when it comes to political decision-making, when it comes to policies that target climate change specifically. And as much as we can do our part in protesting and calling attention to climate change and climate justice, our actions are limited when our calls fall on deaf ears. So one of the most powerful things that we can do to help our environment and ourselves is to practice our right to vote. The US is going through a stressful elections right now, and we are up in 2 years. So I hope that you can take time to register to vote if you're not yet registered, and let us empower leaders who have shown that they care about the environment through their actions. So while we continue the fight for climate justice and a better sustainable future, I hope you can spare a peso, a minute of your time, or even a share in Facebook to help the families in Bicol and Batangas who were affected by the recent typhoon. I'm flashing on screen the Typhoon Rolly relief operations of a trusted group that you can donate to during this time. COSCA has proven time and again their commitment to helping the least, the last, and the lost, and their transparency in handling our donations. Here are the account details that you can send your deposits to. I will also post a link in the description box below so you can also share their call to action. Now this week on the Y series, for our Halloween special, we talked about death. For a long while, we thought that the ancient Egyptians would decorate their tombs with images of their lives that they can take with them to the afterlife. But a recently discovered tomb in the Saqqara Desert in Egypt has shown evidence that these images probably depict more of dreams and aspirations. Because despite the toils and hardships, or maybe because of them, the ancient Egyptians actually believed more and hoped for life after death. The different psychological perspectives that lead to the fear of death were very interesting. But what fascinated me most were the theories by Ernest Becker. Science fact: what makes people act the way they do? This question absorbed Ernest Becker's intellectual life. He was determined to pursue it wherever it led him, and because he refused to confine his search to the boundaries of any one discipline, his academic career was scattered and stormy. From the time he finished his PhD in 1960 to his untimely death in 1974, his interdisciplinary approach to understanding the nature of man and his fear of death has led Ernest Becker to create a steady stream of books and journals with rare and unusual depth. To learn more about his works on the human condition and the terror management theory, please drop by the Ernest Becker Foundation website. From there, you can read about his insights on the human condition, which is best exemplified by my favorite Ernest Becker quote: "What man really fears is not so much extinction, but extinction with insignificance." So let's not go gentle into that good night. Let's rage against the dying of the light, and let's make the most and create meaning out of our short time here on this planet. And speaking of creating something meaningful, this week we featured sheroes who combined their passion for science and the arts.
Hello STEM fans, my name is Carla and I am a Multimedia Arts and Design graduate, and currently I am taking up Radiologic Technology in De La Salle Medical Health Sciences Institute.
Hello science fans, my name is Zoe Goding. You may also know me as future Dr. Zoe. I'm currently a third-year medical student studying at De La Salle Medical and Health Sciences Institute. I'm also a small-time YouTuber, and currently I started dabbling in being a streamer on Twitch.
My favorite part of this video, the part that I really needed to hear and to listen to, was the part about time management. Specifically, about finding time to rest. So, to our viewers and our sheroes, I hope you can find time to do what you love, to take care of yourselves, and to rest during this weekend. And with that, we move on to Q&A. Due to our latest video, a question that popped up asked about my creative hobbies. I can't really profess to have a lot of creative talents, but occasionally, I make sketches or I doodle for my mental health. I try not to draw anything specific and just put pencil to paper. I also like building Gundams and have built 2 within the past 3 weeks. Back in high school and in college, I used to write a lot of fan fiction also. And until now, every once in a while, I still enjoy reading them. And then, we also got a question about how I find sheroes to feature in SHE-ensya. I usually rely on my own network of scientists and STEM advocates, and also friends and followers in social media. But of course, I am very much open to suggestions and collaborations. So please don't hesitate to message me in any of our social media channels. And speaking of social media, you can follow us at SHE-ensya on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also drop by our website at www.sheensya.com. You can also message me through my personal IG account at shona.abeledo. And that's it for our episode of SHE-ensya's Corner this week. I hope you were able to learn something from our short video, and if you did, I hope you can give this video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to our channel. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to message me, your resident Filipino scientist, in the comments section below. Thank you very much, and see you around!